Hello. All of us are familiar with the star Regulus, one of the brightest stars in the sky. And of course, it's in the constellation Leo. And Regulus is regal, it's associated with kings and nobility. And the word Regulus comes from a Latin word which means prince or little king. The term for Regulus in Arabic refers to it as the heart of the lion. And this idea of Regulus as being regal is mentioned in ancient Greece. It goes all the way back to ancient Babylonia. So it's been very consistent. This very bright star that is regal. Now, Regulus recently went from the tropical sign of Leo into Virgo. And I think this is very important. And I'm going to show you some very interesting things related to this. Okay, so Regulus entered Virgo in the year 2011. And a fixed star is in a sign for about the same length as an astrological age, a little over 2,000 years. And we can see this in a nice listing that's in the Sirius software. So here's the Sirius software, and if I select ephemeris, this icon for ephemeris in the Sirius 3.0 software, there is a selection here for fixed stars entering zodiac signs. I click it and then I select a star. They're listed alphabetically, and here is Regulus, Alpha Leo, brightest star in the constellation of Leo. Then I just click OK, and it gives me the listing. And it tells me that Regulus went into Cancer in 2347 BC, a long time ago. In 157 minus 157, that year, the Regulus went into Leo, and it went into Virgo in 2011. So there's your a little over 2,000 years, the same length as an astrological age. So the fixed stars move forward through the tropical zodiac. Now this is rather dramatic that one of the brightest stars in the sky just changed signs, went through this 2,000-year cycle, went from Leo to Virgo. And of course, Regulus is also in the constellation Leo. So there's this consistency that Regulus is Leo, Leo the king. It's in the constellation Leo, often considered to be the heart of the lion. And now the king, after 2,000 years simply being the king, has, in the tropical zodiac, moved over to Virgo. Is this important? I think it's very important. And I'm going to explain a lot of things about this and why astronomically and in terms of sacred geometry, this is really interesting, and I think it does have an effect on us. Okay, also notice this, by the way. In this listing, look at the latitude of Regulus. In minus 2347, the latitude was 0 north 18. And around the year 0, it's 0 north 23. And then over 2,000 years, the latitude changed by 5 minutes from 0 north 23 to 0 north 28. 5 minutes, not very much, over 2,000 years. So the thing to remember about stars is that they move. We call them fixed, but they have a very, very slow motion of their own. So the constellation of Leo, it has a certain shape, but that shape changes very, very, very slowly. The stars actually have what we call proper motion. They have their own motion. So it's interesting that the latitude of Regulus is getting bigger. Regulus is moving away from the ecliptic plane very, very slowly. So the latitude is the distance of the star from the ecliptic plane, and Regulus is almost exactly on the ecliptic plane, and it's very large. It is the largest star on, or I shouldn't say largest, brightest. I meant brightest. Largest to our eyes. It is the brightest star along that ecliptic plane, and one of the brightest stars in the sky in general. Okay, now let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, so we see that Regulus moved into Virgo in 2011. And by the way, the exact date of when this change happens is given differently by different sources. Sirius says it was, let's go back to the program, March 25th. I've seen some sources give a later date. And this is because the star is moving so slowly through the tropical signs that it's difficult to specify the exact moment that it changes signs. Now, I've compared the position of Regulus in the software, because I'm one of the software developers of the program, with astronomical references, and it matches perfectly. So I believe this date is close. But anyway, it was in the year 2011. Now, okay. All right. Okay, all sources agree that Regulus moved from Leo to Virgo in 2011. Does this change our idea of being regal, or how the star Regulus works? I think it does. And let me show you some interesting information about this. Now, I've been talking about Regulus in the tropical zodiac. What about the sidereal zodiac? Well, in the sidereal zodiac, Regulus is hardly moving at all. It's almost not moving. Remember, the stars do have their own proper motion. So over thousands of years, there is a little bit of motion. It's almost perfectly fixed in the sidereal zodiac. That movement of Regulus from Leo to Virgo and being in Leo for over 2,000 years, that's precession of the equinoxes. So let's see, where is Regulus in the sidereal zodiac? Well, that's going to depend on what ayanamsha you use, because there's disagreements about whether you use Lahiri ayanamsha or some other ayanamsha. I use the galactic center is at 0 Sagittarius ayanamsha, and I have an entire tutorial video on this very beautiful and intricate sacred geometry that suggests that the galactic center is at 0 Sagittarius in the sidereal zodiac. This is an ayanamsha that's a few degrees different from the Lahiri ayanamsha. Not hugely different, but it is a few degrees different. Let's look at where Regulus is, and I will use the galactic center equals 0 Sagittarius ayanamsha. If you use Lahiri, it'll be a few degrees different, but it will still be in Leo. It'll be early in the sidereal sign of Leo. So let's look at a chart for the year 0. So I've got some charts already entered here, or year 1. I just entered a date of January 1st, year 1. And this is a fixed stars wheel. And if we go over here down near the bottom, here it is. Regulus, REG 3 Leo 08. On the right side, it tells me REG is the star Regulus, a little key to these abbreviations. So there's Regulus at 3 Leo 08. Now, where will Regulus be almost 1,000 years later when the astrologer Al-Biruni was born in 973? These are new style dates, by the way. There's old style and new style dates. I just use new style for everything. The Sirius software works that way. It keeps it simple. But anyway, the star is hardly going to move at all. So in the year 1, Regulus was at 3 Leo 08. In the year 978, let's see, Leo is up here on the left side. 3 Leo 04. This is similar to the movement that we saw in latitude. Over 1,000 years, almost 1,000 years, Regulus has moved 4 minutes retrograde. And if we look at the current time period, year 2020, and by the way, what I have here, I don't think I made this clear, sidereal. I'm in the sidereal zodiac. These are the sidereal positions. In the sidereal zodiac, with using the galactic center equals 0 Sagittarius Ionamsha, in the year 2020, Regulus has now moved, let's see, Leo over here right here is 2 Leo 59. So it's retrograded 5 more minutes. So Regulus is retrograde at about 4 to 5 minutes per 1,000 years. Okay. And, if you do another chart for the year 2020 or 2019 or 2018, Regulus will be at that same position, 2 Leo 59. It's going to only move 4 or 5 minutes every 1,000 years in the sidereal zodiac. So the thing to remember about the sidereal zodiac is that the fixed stars are not 100% fixed even in the sidereal zodiac, even though we often think that they are, because there is this very small motion. In the case of Regulus, moving 4 to 5 minutes every 1,000 years in longitude, and also moving, while it's moving retrograde, it has its own motion. It has its own motion retrograde. It's also moving away from the ecliptic plane, as we saw. So it has this very, very slow motion. Okay, so I summarize that in bold here at the bottom of this slide. Regulus has a proper motion of 4 to 5 minutes retrograde per millennium. All fixed stars move at about 1 degree direct in the tropical zodiac. So in the tropical zodiac, they're moving 1 degree direct. 1 degree direct per 72 years. Oops, a minor detail here. I left this out. I also have a little typo here, but all fixed stars move about 1 degree direct every 72 years in the tropical zodiac. That's just the precession of the equinoxes. All of this is going to be important. I'm not just talking about this just for fun. This is going to be important for understanding the meaning of Regulus. Now we'll see how we use this information to understand what Regulus does and how it's changing things by moving from Leo to Virgo. So how important is the movement of Regulus into the tropical sign of Virgo in 2011? I'm going to suggest it's very important. It has a dramatic effect on global social and cultural changes. And during the transition, during about the first 70 years, from 2011, that would be to 70 years later, about 2081, there's no rigid number, but for 50 to 100 years, after the star moves into a new tropical sign, you feel the change. There's a shift. And there is a shift going on right now as Regulus has just entered Virgo. And it's having a big effect on the whole world, the whole temperament, the whole attitude, the disposition, the way of seeing things throughout the world. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. And I'll talk more about why during the first 50 to 100 years that a star moves into a new sign, that it takes a while to feel the change. I'm just introducing one thing at a time. Now, here's the important key. An important concept in vibrational astrology is an idea taken from physics, modern physics, that space is more fundamental than matter. If you haven't heard this idea before, you might think this is abstract, weird philosophy, like, oh, now he's just going into la-la land with a bunch of woo-woo stuff. No, this isn't la-la land. This is very fundamental physics, that space is more fundamental than matter, and space informs matter. This is not, you might say, a fact in physics, But you know that according to Einstein, space is curved. You know that idea space is go. Well, what the heck does that mean? And they show you this image of a trampoline with a heavy ball on it, and space is curved. So space is a real thing, and it has shape, and matter is born out of space. So this is an increasingly important idea in physics. I mean, it started a long time ago with Einstein 100 years ago, but it is continuing to be an important concept. And one of the newer ideas is, in addition to space being curved, there are structures in space. So space is this, it's similar to the idea that people had years ago of an ether. It's like a background thing that is lying behind the visible reality. It's different from the ether. Ether was thrown out. I won't go into that. But there's this thing called space. So there are structures in space, and I have suggested that one of the structures in space is the zodiac. The zodiac is a structure in space. It is not created out of the constellations. This is just a proposal. This is an idea. It's an idea that pulls together a lot of things and makes sense of so many things in astrology. It's a theory. It may or may not be true, but wow, does it make clear a lot of things that we believe in astrology. And we have clear, detailed ideas on how the zodiac is created from the interaction of spin. Everything is spinning. The Earth is spinning on its axis. The Earth is revolving around the sun, which is a kind of spin. The sun is revolving around the galactic center, another kind of spin, or what we call, there's an angular momentum involved in it. So everything is spinning. And through the process of the spin and a process of dimension reduction, which is also used in string theory, and growth sequences like Fibonacci numbers put into rhythms called Paisano periods and structures of prime numbers, the zodiac is created. Now, I explain all that in great detail in other videos, and it may sound wild and weird if you haven't heard it before. But the point that's relevant here is to remember that the zodiac is a structure in space created from these very fundamental things. Now, here's the important point I'm leading up to. Drum roll. Brrr. Here's the important conclusion. In the third paragraph of this slide, this leads to the conclusion about why Regulus is regal and has been considered regal since ancient Babylonia. It is not the color of the star or some other physical quality. Even Ptolemy speculated about the colors of the stars, and why the heck is Regulus regal, if it is? And astrologers today still believe Regulus is regal. If that's true, why? Well, the first thought is that section of the sky where the constellation is has this regal aura, like regal vibrations are coming out of it. That's true, but is it because of the quality of the stars? What's going on? Is it like it's giving off a certain vibration? It's the structure in space. It's not the physical quality of the star. It's where the star is. The space is creating the quality. And in this other video where I describe the sidereal zodiac and why I believe the galactic center is 0 Sagittarius in the sidereal zodiac, the interaction and resonances create this structure in space we call the sidereal zodiac. And the sidereal sign of Leo is a section of the sky where that bright star is. So Regulus is in this sidereal sign of Leo. It's the sign, here's the point. The sign of Leo is giving Leo qualities to all of the stars in that part of the sky. It's not that the Regulus has some radiation or colors or something coming out of it that has a Leo quality, it's the sidereal sign of Leo, created from spin and the sacred geometry and dimension reduction, makes that part of the sky Leo, sidereal Leo. So Regulus is always Leo because it's always, at least for over 100,000 years. So for over 100,000 years, the star Regulus is in the sidereal sign of Leo. So it is the quality of Leo, but it has two qualities. The sidereal sign, which does not change for over 100,000 years, because as we saw, Regulus only moves 5 minutes every 1,000 years. It's going to take over 100,000 years for it to move through a sign by its proper motion. So Regulus has the quality of sidereal Leo and the quality of its tropical sign. So you might say that if we say that half of the quality of Regulus is from the sidereal sign and half is from the tropical sign, half of the quality of Leo just changed. It just changed. It changed from pure Leo, sidereal Leo, and tropical Leo to half Leo. It's now still sidereal Leo, but tropical Virgo. And the fixed stars, you can think of matter equals energy, or another way people think of it is that matter is a kind of ripple in space. My second to last line here. Matter is a kind of ripple in space, or you can think of it as a condensation of energy. M equals EC squared. Matter is energy. It's the same thing. Where you can think of it as a ripple in space. Those stars are, literally huge power generators. The sun, one little part of the sun's rays and sending out rays in all directions, lights up and makes life on Earth possible. It's generating huge, enormous amounts of energy, that is very tangible to us. So these stars are powerhouses. They're like mega generators. They're just huge. And they focus a special emphasis on that part of the sky. So the exact placement of Regulus in the sky, it becomes like a channel. It's like a hose with water pouring out of it. Especially powerful expression at that point in the sidereal sign of Leo that manifests that particular area. It's very simple. It's like, suppose you have a large room and you put a light on, you take a lamp and you put it in a part of the room, that part of the room is lit up. So the whole room has a certain quality and tone. Maybe it's, green and color and has certain kind of furniture and a certain feeling and mood to it. And that light focuses attention and power in one part of it. So that power of sidereal Leo that's in Regulus, because it's always a focal point of power of sidereal Leo, has now moved to Virgo. And I'll talk about right now about how that affects how Regulus functions. So the fixed stars have a nearly permanent basic quality defined by their placement in the sidereal zodiac. Regulus is in sidereal Leo. It's in the 4th degree of Leo. And notice it retrograded. If I go back to that Sirius software, let me go back to it for a second. Let me just show you this again. That, this is not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is that in the year 2020, In the year 2020, Regulus is at 2 Leo 59. And remember, in the year 1, Regulus is at 3 Leo 08. So here it is, Regulus 3 Leo 08. So sometime in the past few hundred years, Regulus has retrograded in the sidereal zodiac from 3 degrees Leo, from 3 to 4 Leo, to 2 to 3 Leo. It's retrograded from that 4th degree, from 3 to 4 Leo to 2 to 3 Leo. Well, you know that we have these degree meanings. And so the sidereal quality of Regulus also changes. Let me say that again. The sidereal quality, which is the inherent, it's like the inner fundamental quality of the star, it goes through little changes over time. So when Regulus retrograded, somewhere in the last 3 to 4 or 500 years, Regulus retrograded from 3 Leo 08, early 3 degrees Leo, to late 2 degrees Leo. It went into a different degree area, and every degree area has its own meaning. It's still Leo, it's still regal, it's still the heart of the lion, but that heart of the lion has changed a little bit. So what happens is the quality of the fixed star changes subtly over time through the proper motion, because the star does move. And even though it takes over 100,000 years to move through a sign, Regulus in the past 400 to 500 years retrograded to a different degree. What degree it's in depends on the ionamsha used. If we assume and guess that the galactic center equals 0 Sagittarius is the correct ionamsha, then Regulus retrograded to a different degree. So here, what's happening is this. There are subtle changes in the inherent meaning of the star if that star happens to move into a different degree area in the sidereal zodiac. And then there's a rather dramatic change every 2,000 years when it moves into a new tropical sign. And I'm going to show you the degree meaning of Regulus. The meaning of Regulus, assuming that the galactic center equals 0 Sagittarius ionamsha is correct, this is the meaning of Regulus. Okay, so I've gone through a lot of technical stuff. I hope I didn't, might have lost a few of you along the way. But now we've come to something really fundamental that's important to astrologers. Let me say it again. The meaning of Regulus is its placement in the sidereal zodiac and its placement in the tropical zodiac. That's what gives the star its meaning. Not its color, not any other physical characteristic. It's where it is. That's what's giving it its meaning. And we'll look at the degree meaning for Leo as it moved from the 3rd degree, from 3 Leo 08 to 2 Leo 59, and we'll talk about the change in meaning as it moved from Leo tropical sign to Virgo tropical sign. So, let me just repeat this. Let me read these few sentences at the bottom to make sure this is clear. Regulus has Leo qualities. Why? Is it, the vibrations it's giving off a color? It's because it's in sidereal Leo. It is not the constellation Leo that makes Leo regal. It is that it's in a sidereal sign because space defines matter. Astrology operates at the level of space, a more spiritual, hidden layer of reality is where astrology functions from. It is the Leo space that gives Leo qualities to the celestial objects in the sidereal sign of Leo. And again, the sidereal sign is important and the tropical sign is important. Okay, so here's the meaning of Regulus. I'm going to tell you what it means. Regulus in the sidereal zodiac is in the constellation is in the sidereal sign of Leo. It's in the Saptamsa chart or 7 vibration chart. It's in the sign of Leo as well. In the Navamsa, or 9 vibration chart, it's in the sign of Aries. And we can also look at the 30 vibration, the 5 vibration, and 13 vibration. I believe that these vibrations, 5, 7, and 9, 30, and 13, are the most important vibrations that color the meaning of an area of the sky. The 30 vibration divides each degree of the 360 degrees to be a different zodiac sign, and it's very powerful in giving the meanings of each degree. I have tutorial videos on this. I have a book, Astrology for the 21st Century, that describes all of this. So you're familiar with the idea of divisions of the sky into navamsas and harmonics, whatever you want to call it. And certain signs are really important. We can understand Regulus just by looking at the harmonic signs, these specific vibrational signs that are very important. And to make it a little more concrete, here's a chart with the sun at 3 Leo 08. I just adjusted the date and time for a time in the year 2020 when the sun is at 3 Leo 08. This is where the sun was in the year 1. In the year 1, if I look at the 13th harmonic chart, or I like to call 13 vibration chart, the sun is in Virgo. That's why in this thing I say the 13 vibration is Virgo. If I create, I didn't do it yet, but I'll do it right now, I'll create the 7th harmonic chart. Let's do 7 and 9. In the 7th harmonic chart, the sun is in Leo. This is in the tropical zodiac. So, well, it's for any object at 3 Leo 08. Anything that's at 3, don't even think about zodiacs for this. Anything that's at 3 Leo 08 in any zodiac is going to be in Leo 7 vibration. If I look at the 9 vibration, here, where's the sun? Down here in Aries. So in this table, it's telling you that the 9 vibration is Aries. You can also get all of this information, or at least most of it, by going to listings and then degree meanings, and then select number 8, harmonic degree meanings. And when you do that, it will tell you what all of these, you can call them subsigns, are. It leaves out 13 because I got the idea for 13 vibration only in the last 3 to 4 years from some research, and it leaves out 13, but it gives you the others. So here's the sun in Cancer, 30 vibration. I'm not going to talk about 12, but the 9 is Aries, the 7 is Leo, and the 5 is Sagittarius. So going back to this, excuse me, what this means, the meaning of Regulus. Okay, I've taken you through a lot of ideas. Bottom line is this. What does Regulus mean? It's leonine. It's in the sidereal sign of Leo. Sidereal sign defines the basic, fundamental quality of the stars. The stars get their primary meaning from the sidereal zodiac. The planets get their primary meaning, I believe, from the tropical zodiac. This is all very controversial, and I get into this later, but the sidereal zodiac and the tropical zodiac are both important. The stars are anchored in the sidereal zodiac. Well, that's not so controversial. I mean, the stars are anchored in the sidereal zodiac. That's where they fundamentally are defined. So Regulus has Leo qualities because it's in Leo in the sidereal zodiac. 7 vibration, the Septamsa chart, tells you meaning. What things are meaningful to you. What is important or deep or profound. What deserves reverence. It also gives maturity and depth, and also something more formal, like an august, imposing quality. It's statuesque. The 7 vibration is still and deep, mature and commanding. So what is the deeper? It's often symbolic or metaphysical. What is the deep, profound level of Regulus? In its 7 vibration, it's still Leo. It's still Leo. If you look up here and the third line up here, 7 vibration is Leo. I just showed you the Subthamsa chart for any object at 3 Leo 08. And that's still true at 2 Leo 59, where Regulus is now. It's still going to be Subthamsa Leo. So the king, this fixed star Regulus, which is a funnel, like a channel for radiating and expressing a certain point in space, emanates a deep Leo. So the idea of Leo in the sidereal zodiac and the way that kings were in Europe in the Middle Ages is that they are commanding, they are deep. This is the archetype, this is the image, this is the dream. Not all kings lived up to that image, or queens, but what was the pure, desired idea of Leo is somebody who's deep about their Leo, not just comedians, clowns, circus. That's considered to be more entertainment. The deep, real Leo is deep and profound. Why? Because Regulus is in 7 vibration Leo. If you have a planet conjunct Regulus, here's a more practical use of this. Suppose your sun is conjunct Regulus, or your moon, or your ascendant. Those qualities of the king or queen as a deep, profound presence come through you. And you'll find people that have planets conjunct Regulus have this, they draw upon this profound depth. If they can draw upon that and center in that, they become extremely successful through that way of life and that way of being. Okay, the social context, the 9 vibration, or Navamsa chart, shows us the social context, how we can create harmony and peace in the world and be part of our communities, is Aries, which means authentic. So as a king or queen, here, let's make it very clear astrologically. If you or anybody else has sun, moon, ascendant, or whatever planet tightly conjunct Regulus, it's very important to think deeply about what it means to be an individual, to establish yourself, to organize and command your life. It's a Subthamsa Leo as well. And to be honest with everyone, to be honest with your family, your neighbors, to be sincere. These are the most important qualities for Regulus. So anybody who has a planet conjunct Regulus, this is what's being demanded of you. And it's in the sidereal zodiac, and you might say a more spiritual, fundamental level. It's a bit of your spiritual path. Your way through life is that you have the ability to be commanding, to be a teacher, a leader, a strong presence, and to think deeply about that and be simple, unadorned, simple in your relationships to family and community, Aries. This is what Regulus actually means. Its meaning is from its placement in the sidereal zodiac. And up until a few hundred years ago, Regulus was in Cancer 30 vibration. The 30 vibration will show an inner quality. And so the king, like in medieval fairy tales anyway, it doesn't always manifest, but the dream or hope was that the king or queen at heart is dedicated to their family and to protecting their dominion. Cancer is about protecting, having a castle. Where is the king and queen? They're in the castle, in the dominion, protecting the people and being identified with the people while still having these other qualities as well. Well, Regulus moved from Cancer 30 vibration to Gemini. I can pull up that same report for 2020, and I'll do it, so you believe me. Okay, I'll go to the year 2020 and bring up this. No, I don't want to go to 2020. I want to. I don't want to take a lot of time to do this. I'm going to chart adjust this sun. I'll go back 1 hour at a time until it's in 2 Leo 59. I'm going back, and there it is. I did it. Didn't take that long. Save. Okay, now I've got the sun at 2 Leo 59. And let's see what the sun's vibrational signs are. I can pull up the report again. And I believe it's going to show the 30 vibration is Gemini. There it is. It's at late Gemini because we're at the end of the second degree, 2 Leo 59, and it will, as Regulus retrogrades earlier and earlier, it'll go earlier and earlier in Gemini. So the point is this: 300, 400, 500 years ago, Regulus moved from the fixed star Regulus, moved from having a Cancer inner fundamental interest that in the end, what are the king and queen for? Their job is to protect the kingdom. I mean, why do we have a king or a queen? To rule and protect and build a community. Now, if they're abusive, they gather a lot of money and wealth and they don't take care of the people. That's an abuse of their position. Properly done. Why is there a king or queen? To protect. And every person, as a parent, as a person in society, becomes a king or queen who protects and builds strength among the people around them. That's the idea. But that was until a few hundred years ago. Regulus moved into Gemini. This means that the new king, the new queens, are not so much about protecting as about raising curiosity. The new leaders of the world, starting around the Age of Enlightenment, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, is people that awaken curiosity, that awaken basic learning, literacy, to read and write, to be a king or queen after Enlightenment, after 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, increasingly is simply about freeing your mind. Like, wow, how does this happen? Why is the sky blue? How does this work? Children and adults tinkering with things and puzzles and figuring it out. That can also be spiritual, and that becomes the purpose of Regulus. So for people born today, up to over 100 years ago, your clients today who have sun or moon or ascendant or any planet conjunct Regulus, that is asking them to get control of your life, get control of your faculties, of your body. Eat right, exercise right, live right. Get your act together. Regulus is saying, get your act together. Get yourself as an individual, that's what Leo is about, together and do it deeply. Leo subtamsa. Be simple and honest. Don't be evasive. Don't hide behind a bunch of abstract philosophy when you're talking to your brothers and sisters, your parents, your children, your neighbors. Be simple. Be transparent. And what is it all for? The 30 vibration? To let us all be like children exploring the world, a Gemini quality. These are the traits for people today born with a planet conjunct Regulus. That is the meaning of Regulus. But there's also another side, which is the tropical sign. And the tropical sign shows how all of these basic qualities get shared, get expressed. And Regulus has just moved into Virgo in 2011. This means I'm making this video at the end of the year 2020, almost 2021. This is about 10 years, 10 years after Regulus moved into Virgo. That means everybody up to about 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, at this time, the children up to 10 years old, they are born with Regulus in Virgo. And this means that the ultimate hero, the ultimate way that you get your act together and share something and bring it out into the world, tropical zodiac, and make it part of the life here on Earth. Here on Earth. I mean, it's one thing to have a great cosmic philosophy. But here we are on Earth where there's seasons and there are droughts and there are floods and there are schools and, you know, all the things people do and entertainment and science and arts and all these things we humans do here on real life. The great heroes of the future are expressing Virgo. So this changes the idea of who the hero is, what the hero's journey is. For the new generation, for the coming generation, it's going to be about bringing perfection to Earth, to clean things up, to make things right. And now we no longer have Regulus as pure Leo. So if you are more than 10 years old, I think everybody watching this video probably is, but if you're watching this video 30 years from now, you know, that's going to, more and more people are going to be born with Regulus in Virgo, and they may have Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or some other planet tightly conjunct Regulus, which makes Regulus especially important for them. So more and more people are going to be the heroes of the world by bringing cleanliness and getting rid of disturbance. It's a more humble kind of energy. And in the future, over the next 2,000 years, there'll be less emphasis on the drama, on the pure Leo. Okay, let me go back to my PowerPoint here. I'm already at 48 minutes. Holy moly, this is a long video. I might have to split this into two. Let's see if I can wrap this up in less than an hour. Now, here's an interesting thing. I think I'll just go through this whole thing. It's going to be a long video. Or should I? Hold on. I'm getting a little confused here. Let me see how many more. You know what? I'm going to break this into two parts. I still got a lot more to do. I'm going to stop here. And in part 2, I'll pick up with the meaning of Leo. And we'll pick up with some applications of these ideas. Let's call part 2 applications of the ideas. I'm going to show you something about my chart, which is interesting with Regulus, because Regulus is the star that I'm first star that I'm putting a lot of emphasis on. That's not a surprise when you see what it does in my chart. But more importantly, how life changes, how life is different with Regulus in tropical Virgo. It is very important. Okay, I'm at almost 50 minutes, so let's stop here and have a part 2 to continue this. Okay, thank you very much, my friends. God bless. Namaste.